Now that is how you deliver on some heartfelt storylines with some emotional depth and some really, really funny comedy. So Regretting You stars Allison Williams, McKenna Grace, and Dave Franco. And the plot essentially boils down to a strained relationship between young mother Morgan Grant and her teenage daughter Clara, exacerbated by Morgan's husband's Chris's tragic death, forcing them to navigate life challenges together. And yes, I know that plot synopsis is kind of confusing, but I'm kind of doing that on purpose with this review, and I'm not going to go into too much depth on the plot because this movie is very plot heavy and it kind of requires you to have a little bit of suspense going into it. And I figured if you're watching this review, you're probably one of two people. First person being you've read the book, you like Coleen Hoover's stuff, and you're just kind of excited to see it. You're just curious whether the movie is good or not. And the second person being the boyfriend or girlfriend of the person that I just described previously, hence full representation here. My girlfriend, massive fan of Coleen Hoover. She loves her books and she was going to see this movie regardless. So I'm going to kind of fill you in as I had to fill myself in, basically. So to answer the big question, is this a good movie based on Coleen Hoover's Regretting You? Now, I have not read the book. I'm going to be very clear about that. I don't know if this is faithful to the book. To be frank, I don't really care because this movie is phenomenal. It has a very complicated, multi-layered, almost 2-point plot in which there's a love square. Within that, you have a daughter who's trying to essentially come of age in high school. She's dealing with her own personal issues. Layer on top of that, a tragedy in the family. There's all of these things going on, right? Somehow, this movie is incredibly coherent. It knows exactly what it's trying to achieve, and it hits it beat for beat and does it exceptionally well. This movie delivers on some really heartfelt, deep emotional scenes that really landed with me and definitely landed with Zoe. I saw her tearing up multiple times. It balances the heaviness and the somberness with a healthy dose of levity. It really increased my enjoyment with this movie about tenfold. If you are a Coleen Hoover fan and you read the book, I do think you will like this movie. At the very least, you hopefully will be able to realize that it's incredibly quality and they really put a lot of attention and care into it from what I've been able to glean. And for you, the significant other of anybody who's dragging you into this movie, you're not going to be in for a bad time. The beginning, it's pretty slow, but it builds and builds, and it does get to a place where it kind of sucks you in. So if you can make it through, like, I don't know, the first 30%, you're going to be in for a good time. However, as with anything that is put on the big screen, there are a couple negatives. The beginning was pretty slow, and I think if you don't really know what you're building towards, it does kind of feel like a slog because you're kind of just meandering through these people's lives, essentially. But then the shoe drops and then it really gets you on your way. So if you can make it through that beginning section, I do think you're going to have a good time. If you kind of are one of those persons that really needs to be gripped in the very beginning, you might have a difficult time with this film. The second thing, and I hate to do this, I absolutely hate to do this. I love my man Dave Franco, but for some reason, he just didn't click with me in this film. I thought his performance was a little odd, at sometimes even creepy, and I hate saying it because I think he's a phenomenal actor, and I like watching him in pretty much anything that he's been in. But for some reason, I can't put my finger on it. Maybe you can tell me in the comments below. There's just something off, and it kind of pulled me away from some of the story beats, and if you know what I'm talking about. But aside from those two very small gripes that I had with this film, Regretting You is one of the best experiences that I have had at the theater this year. 100% it is worth the price of admission, and I think for a lot of people this would be, if they're into physical media, one of the ones that you would want to buy on Steelbook. But the video isn't done here. I did record a little bit of a interview session with my girlfriend, if you will, just to get her thoughts and her opinions because she really wanted to share them, and as somebody being her who loves Coleen Hoover, I think it is kind of a valuable insight. So I'm going to go ahead and play that now. If you want to stick for it, go ahead. If you don't, completely understand. But I just thought it would be very fun for her and for you guys to get her perspective on Regretting You. Okay, Zoe, what did you think of Coleen Hoover's latest movie?
I really liked it. You better keep that. That's funny. I really liked it. 9 out of 10 stars for me.
9 out of 10 stars?
9 out of 10 stars.
That's high praise. So, what did you like the most?
Mm-hmm.
What did you like the least?
Mm-hmm.
And were there any things that you might have changed? Because there's a couple things that I definitely would have changed.
Mm-hmm. Okay, hold on.
She has notes.
I have notes. I'll start off with the bad, because I didn't have a lot of bad things to say about this movie. The one thing that I will say is the one person that I would have guessed to be kind of a solid lock when it comes to acting would be Dave Franco. He's been in a lot of movies. He's probably one of the most recognizable actors in this film. And I just felt like it lacked a lot. Like something was off with him. Character just kind of felt really weird. And I don't think it was intentional. I think he just wasn't the right person for the role. It lacked a lot, I felt like. And then I have one more thing that's not really a negative, but just kind of like I felt bad for her, was McKenna. She cried the entire movie. Did you notice that? Almost every single scene she was in, she was crying. And it wasn't really a negative for me because it was an emotional movie, but I was like, man, that girl went through the ringer to film this movie, because she cried a lot. I have a million positives for this movie because I genuinely enjoyed it and had a really good time. But I thought, as predicted, I thought the chemistry between McKenna and Mason, who play the two main like high school characters, they were amazing. Just the way he looked at her in some of those scenes, like you could tell it wasn't fully scripted. And they even said that in interviews that like not everything they did was scripted. They did a lot of improv stuff, but it was just like there were certain scenes, like the car scene when her mom pulls up and she's like in the truck. That was my favorite scene. I just figured it out. That's my favorite scene.
That was a good one. As
a positive and kind of a negative, McKenna's friend, I forget her name, Lexi. McKenna's friend, Kara's friend, Lexi. At first, I was a little worried because I thought she was going to get annoying. I feel like this happens a lot in movies recently where they try to have like a comedic best friend. And a lot of the times it falls flat. And I feel like there were moments where she fell flat, but I feel like 90% of the time it was funny. And I was genuinely surprised by that because I was like, okay, this girl's going to get annoying at some point. But honestly, I felt like she got better throughout the movie. She got more funny as the movie went on, which is really rare with a comedic best friend like that. This isn't a negative for me. It's a positive, but I said predictable, but I'm not mad about it. Because I felt like, and this is with you saying that I kept gasping, and it's because I kind of had a feeling I knew it was about to happen with certain moments that I'm not gonna say because it's spoilers, but
so did the people next to me, and they said it out loud every time.
Oh really?
Oh my god, I couldn't stand it.
Yeah,
anyway,
that's annoying.
Sorry.
But like I had a feeling I knew what was about to happen, but like I wasn't mad that I had a feeling about it.
Yeah.
Because usually if I'm having an idea that I think what's gonna happen, like it's usually me just overreacting and it doesn't happen. But with this one, like it did happen and it made it that much more dramatic for me because I was like, oh my god, you know?
Well, you're probably rooting for it.
Yeah, kinda, for sure. And then the last thing that I have written down is the promposal was the cutest shit I've ever seen. The cutest thing. I am obsessed with that. I can't completely spoil it, but that was the best thing. I like literally wanted to tear up.
You did tear up.
I did tear up.
You did tear up. There were multiple parts of this movie where she's over there just being a little
softball. Did you see me? I was bawling my eyes out in the middle of that movie. I was literally going like this, trying to hide it from you because my tears were falling. I was like, if I wipe my eyes, he's gonna know. But if I wipe my cheek down here by my mouth, he's not gonna know.
I didn't see the waterfall, but I did see your eyes were very
gushing.
Glossy.
No, I was bawling. I had drops on my shirt. Yeah, I was being a little baby. But I love a movie that can do that to me.
So that's going to do it for this review, guys. If you liked this video, as always, please hit the like button. It does really help out the channel. If you have any thoughts and opinions, or if you go ahead and see this movie and you want to come back and talk about it, the place to do that is in the comment section. I love hearing your guys' opinions. It's always a good time for me, happy or negative, whatever it may be. And if you want to see more reviews like this one, or just whatever content I post on YouTube, make sure to drop a sub. You will be notified and see all of that good fun that I post on the internet for everybody to see forever. And as always, guys, I appreciate you. Have a good one. Peace.